Hi, it's Miss Julie. I wanted to tell you about and show you what I found on my walk today. So the first clue about what I did was I found a tree. And I'm going to show you a leaf from the tree. And looking at the leaf, I want to see if you can guess what kind of tree I'll be talking about today. Do you know what kind of a leaf that is? Because you know, different kinds of trees have leaves that are shaped differently. This leaf, you can see, has veins in it, and you can see has three pointy parts to it. Do you know what kind of leaf that is? It's a maple leaf. Came from a maple tree. But there's something else that comes from a maple tree that is even more fun than just looking at the leaves. I found some other leaves. These were attached by a stem, also maple leaves. And then I found some little ones, and these are interesting. Usually maple leaves feel sort of smooth and slippery to me. These maple leaves feel furry to me. It feels like if you've ever felt a peach, peaches have kind of a fuzz on the outside of them. This maple leaf has some fuzz on the outside. I've never seen that before. Now, this is the fun part. The seeds of a maple tree are really fun to me. Now, there are two colors. The first color of maple seeds you might see are green. When you see these green seeds, they're usually attached. There are two of them, and they're often attached to a stem. So the green ones are attached, but those aren't my favorites either. Let me show you my favorites. My favorite ones are the yellow ones. Now there are some names that people call these. I always called them helicopters, and I'll tell you why in a few minutes. And a lot of other people call them helicopters. But some people call them whirligigs. Some people call them maple keys. Does it look like a key to you? Some people call them whirly birds or polynoses. Technically, the real term for these is samaras. This is a samara. Okay, I'm going to stop there. So I told you that the green ones are almost always two together with a stem attached. The yellow ones are almost always by themselves. Now, let me tell you a couple things that I learned about this. The first thing I learned, I never knew this before. Some people eat the seeds inside of here. And what you need to do is peel. I am peeling this apart. It's hard to see. Okay, do you see that seed in there? I'm going to take that seed out. Now this is kind of smooth. This is what a maple seed looks like. Some people eat those. They might put them on a salad to make their salads crunchy, but you throw away this part, the outer part, and you just eat the inside part. I have never tried one. I'm not going to try one. Now, when I found out that polynoses was one of the terms that people use for these, I was wondering if it was because of something I like to do with them. You know the character Pinocchio? Pinocchio was a boy who started out as a puppet and he turned into a real boy. But a lot of times his father, Geppetto, would ask him things and he didn't tell the truth. And every time he said something that wasn't true, his nose would grow a little bit and a little bit more and a little bit more. And if he told a lot of things that weren't true, he would have a very long nose. Well, I always liked to take the seed part out of this polynose. And this one isn't going to work. Let me try another one. They can be kind of delicate when they get dried out like this, but I'm going to try again to peel the outside part and get the seed out of there. So there's the seed. I'm going to pop that seed out. And then you take the two halves and you stick it to your nose. And I always thought that these were Pinocchio noses. Do you think that's why it's called Polly nose? Because you can make a nose out of it? I'm not sure. All right, now for the very coolest thing that you can do with one of these, and the reason it's called a helicopter. I'm going to toss this up, and we're going to see if you can see it looking like a helicopter coming down. Well, that one was off the frame. Let's see. Was that too fast to see? I'm going to try to do that outside. Maybe I can get a better film. If I can't, maybe you can try it because there are lots of maple seeds out right now. You could probably collect some and try it on your own. Something else I learned today is that the job of a maple tree is to make sure that more maple trees grow. And so the design of these helicopters is really important. If this just dropped under the tree, it wouldn't be able to grow into a new maple tree. So the seed has to get far away from the tree it fell from in order to grow. So I just showed you how it flies, or kind of told you how it flies, but it flies like a helicopter away from the tree, far away hopefully, and then usually it gets stuck maybe in some grass or something. And the design of this is such that it gets stuck like this. So the seed part is in the grass and this part is sticking up. And then maybe some snow falls eventually, or maybe somebody walks by and pushes down on this with his or her foot, and it helps the seed to go into the soil. And then eventually, maybe a new maple tree grows. There are scientists who study maple seeds because they are so good at flying. The scientists are trying to design new mini helicopters or flying machines based on the design of the maple seed. Isn't that fascinating? In fact, NASA, the space program in the United States, has some information on their website about how good maple seeds are at flying. So I told you that some people eat maple seeds, but there are other things that people use maple trees for. The first one is maple syrup. Did you ever have maple syrup on your pancakes or your waffles? People collect the sap from a maple tree and then they make that into syrup. But people make baseball bats from maple wood. They make bowling alley lanes from maple and bowling pins. They make the shaft for a pool cue, and they also make the bow for a bow and arrow out of maple wood. People also use maple wood to make a butcher's block, and some of you may have butcher block kitchen counters. Some people's counters are made from that. Other people use butcher blocks to cut things like a chopping board. And then a lot of furniture is made out of maple wood, like tables and chairs. See if you have any maple furniture in your house. I hope you enjoyed learning with me about maple seeds. See you next time.